Welcome to the CrossFit Max podcast.
What is going on, team? And thank you for tuning in. I hope you're having an amazing day wherever you are in the world. I'm excited for you guys to listen to this one because we have Client Elie joining us, and he is someone that I've really appreciated getting to know this last year and a half since he's been at CrossFit Max. We talk about his journey into CrossFit and also being a dad and making sure that he prioritizes health and fitness at the same time. So we hope that you enjoy it. Make sure you give us a rating and a review, and let's get to it. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. We are in it, Elie. What's up, buddy?
Hey, how you doing?
We got Elie on the podcast this week, everyone. I'm excited. I feel like we have pretty good conversations during our run club on Sundays.
Yeah.
So
at least this time we're not out of breath.
Yeah, especially this weekend. I was talking a lot when we were running, and I was feeling a little bit more out of breath as we were going. But I'm excited to have you on today, man.
Thanks. I'm glad to be here.
Tell us a little bit about your background with microphones and stereos and
Well, this is I don't have a lot of experience on this side of the microphone, like I said earlier.
Yeah.
My formal training is in audio engineering. So recording music, soundtracks for film, even voiceovers, this kind of thing.
Okay. So if I sound bad after, you can put a cool voiceover, or
we can maybe put on some effects and all that.
Nice. So you're going to do the editing this week.
Yeah. You can't afford me.
Oh, gotcha. That makes sense. I got very limited time here.
Right. No, it's all good. But I haven't really done production side in a long time.
Okay.
Pretty much since got married, had kids and all that, and realized that working freelance is a little difficult to get a mortgage with.
Mm-hmm. I know all about that.
Yeah. But still working in the industry, which I'm pretty happy with. And it's been probably close to 20 years now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn. So now you're on this side of the microphone. How does it feel?
A little weird, actually. I'm trying, in the back of my mind, I'm going through all the techniques that, I'm telling my artists to remember. Stay close to the mic. Don't spit into the mic.
Let's get you a little bit closer over here.
Yeah, that's right. I have an awful microphone technique. Yeah.
It's so funny when we've had these guests over the last, couple months, it's been fun to see everyone's, I don't know, I guess I coach them in group classes, but then you put a microphone on them and you get to see if they're a little bit different, if they get anxious, they get nervous. I ask everyone this at the beginning, are you nervous? And I think you were the first person that said no.
Well, I'm not so nervous. What I'm nervous about is not knowing what to expect.
Oh, gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I look silly all the time, so this is not going to be any different. But you've had some really strong guests over the last few weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. I won't get you to rate them, because I think they've all been pretty good.
Well,
but have you had a favorite so far?
They were all amazing in different ways.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that answer. Wow. You're doing great so far, man.
All right. We can stop now, right?
Exactly.
Stop on a high.
So banter topic, you know the drill at the beginning here. You've been listening to the podcast for a while. We have our MAXFIT course going on this weekend, and it's a retest from the event that we did in April. You're doing it with the same teammates that you did back then.
That's right.
With Larry and Jess.
Correct.
And what is remind me of your team name?
Oh, I'm going to mess this up. Booties and the Beast.
There we go. And you guys even have a t-shirt.
Yes. And the one time a year I'll wear pink.
Nice. Exactly. Yeah, you said that the other day in the group class, and I said, we're definitely going to have to change that. So
it's not in my color wheel.
So
Sorry.
if your daughter Charlotte is listening to this podcast, you know exactly what to get your dad for his birthday or for Christmas. Get him some cool pink fitness attire.
Oh, yeah. I'll end up with some pink socks and a pink headband.
Absolutely, yeah. Wait, do you have a pink headband? Is that what Oh, you don't? Okay, so that's definitely... What do you wear a red one? Is it a red one?
I had an orange one, bright orange.
Oh, an orange one. Okay, gotcha.
It's the only headband I have.
Yeah, exactly. Because I've seen you put the headband on, but I was trying to think what color it was. Yeah, orange is definitely the wrong color.
Right.
But anyways, we're doing the MAXFIT course this weekend. And it's the exact same race for those of you guys who don't know what it is. It's pretty much 8 different stations. like burpee box jump overs is the first one, and you're in teams of 3 and you got to accumulate 100 repetitions, and then you go out for a 400-meter run, and you got, calories on the row, calories on the bike, a whole bunch of fun stuff. Yeah. What are you excited for most on the retest this weekend?
Wall balls.
Okay.
Yeah, I know it's a weird answer.
Wall balls is the final station before you hit that last run. Yeah. How come?
Because in the spring when we did it, I wasn't very strong with wall balls. I didn't have a good technique, got tired quickly, and now I feel a lot more confident with them, and I don't have to let Jess do all of them. Okay. Even though that's her strongest thing. Yeah. So
gotcha. Jess did most of them last time?
Oh yeah, she did. She cranked out 30 in a row, and we tapped her on the shoulder saying, we're here too, we can help. Yeah.
Which is even more impressive because it is the final station. So she must have been pretty gassed at that point as well.
If she was, she didn't show it.
Okay. Gotcha. Do you guys have a different strategy? Because there is somewhat of a strategy in place for this event, because only 2 of the 3 teammates have to do the 400-meter runs. Yeah. And except for the first 400-meter and the final 400-meter where the whole team has to run. Yeah. Are you guys going to keep the exact same strategy and just push as hard as you can? Or have you guys learned? And
we haven't strategized recently. Okay. I remember we discussed it after the last race, in that the pacing, I think the pacing we had last time was really good, as well as the rotation of the running as well. Okay. What I think we did really well last time is we handed off when we saw somebody was tired, like one of the teammates was tired, we'd hand off prether quickly. Gotcha. Or one of the other people would do a few more reps just to give a little bit more rest time. But other than that, we really haven't.
Do you think you guys can get a faster time this weekend than you did a few months ago?
Oh, that's a good question.
Do you feel fitter?
I feel fitter. Yeah,
for sure. I would say running. You're definitely running fitter as well.
Yeah, I think we have a chance of doing better this weekend than we did in the spring. Although we did pretty darn well in the spring as well.
What was your time? Do you remember?
No, I don't remember the time. I think we came in 6th.
Okay. Actually, you know what? I have the report right in front of me because I was actually working on the teams. So Booty and the Beast, where are you guys? Oh, you guys did finish 5th place. Okay. And you guys finished in a time of 53 minutes and 11 seconds.
That's awesome.
Can you get close to 50 minutes? Where do you think you guys could shave a little bit more time off? Do you think you guys could run a little bit faster? Were you too conservative at the beginning?
Yeah, I think for myself, I think I was a little conservative with the running in the beginning. Jess and I are strong runners. Maybe her a little bit more than me. Yeah, she's fast and she has a lot of energy as well. Yeah. So I remember when her and I were running together in the spring. Towards the end, I was forcing myself to try to keep up with her. Okay. But that's one aspect. The other one is the 50-pound dumbbell carry. Yeah. So for the listeners, there's a 400-meter farmer carry that the teams have to do. Yep. And you have 2 50-pound dumbbells, and you can carry them however you want with the 3 teammates. So one person can hold the 2 dumbbells and start running, and then you could pass it off. Or if you wanted, one person could have the dumbbell and another person could have a dumbbell, and you can kind of rotate the dumbbells between the 3 of you. Right. What was your strategy? I carried one and they shared the other one.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay. But I think that I could carry it. I carried it on my shoulders last time.
Like just like on one shoulder?
No, across like fireman's carry kind of thing.
Okay, gotcha.
But I let my core kind of collapse on itself. So by the end, I was struggling. Okay. So this time, shoulders back, core tight. Keeping it for 400 shouldn't be an issue. Gotcha. And just keep my feet moving. Okay. Yeah. I feel like you and Jess are going to be really good at running, and Laurie is good at that grunt work. Like when she gets on a cardio machine, she's really good at pushing really hard on that machine. Absolutely. And also, I would imagine on the burpees, she's good to just fire it up and go. Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. It's going to be fun to see some teams. There are some teams that have that are going to be retesting it this weekend. Mm-hmm. And there's going to be other teams that are going to be doing it for the first time. There's also some people that did do it but are now in different teams. Okay. So that'll also be fun to see what their experience is like.
But any event that we host at CrossFit Max is always a good time.
Oh, it's a great time.
Yeah.
You know, the energy is good.
Mm-hmm.
People have great attitude. You know, there's that sense of competitiveness.
Yeah.
That everybody has, even the people that are soft-spoken during class and all that. You know, they're pushing each other, they're pushing themselves, but it's all in a very friendly and open atmosphere, which makes it even that more enjoyable.
Yeah.
So yeah, looking forward to it.
Should be good. I think Laurie is someone that you described really well there. Very quiet, a little bit more soft-spoken, but then like when it comes to working out, she gets real loud.
Oh yeah.
Like really high energy in the workout, pushes, not just, you know, she doesn't just get angry at herself to fire herself up, but she's one of those people that pushes everyone around her and encourages everyone. So it's going to be a good time, man.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good time.
Look forward to it.
Okay. Topic of the conversation piece for today is going to be a fun one. I'm excited to talk to you about this because you have lived this for 14 years now.
Yeah.
And I have lived this for almost 3 months now.
Okay. Just about 14 weeks.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I guess. So he'll be turning in exactly 1 week from today.
Okay.
He'll be turning 3 months.
Okay.
So I don't know what that is in weeks, but yeah, 3 months is coming up.
Yeah.
You definitely have far more experience in me in this category. But when Thomas was born, I definitely looked up to a lot of people in the gym who are parents, right? Especially dads as well. So I'm curious to pick your brain on this topic to see some things that you have gone through and also things that you're going through now because you haven't been doing CrossFit for 13 years.
Right.
You've only been doing CrossFit for just over a year now?
A year and a half.
A year and a half now.
Yeah.
When did you, so give them a little bit of a background on you before we get into the dad topic.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your CrossFit history so far.
Sure.
So when did you start at CrossFit Max?
So I did my foundations, I want to say in April 2023.
April 2023. Oh yeah, it really has been a year and a half.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Between April and May.
And who was your coach? Was it Susie?
No, it was Sean.
Oh, it was Sean. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So Sean, wow, shout out to Sean if he's still listening. So Sean did your foundations in April.
Yeah, April, May.
Yeah. Okay. How long did that process take? Were you doing a once a week? Were you doing a couple times per week?
I think I did it once, and then towards the end, I did it twice a week.
Okay.
Not understanding really, what I was getting into, but the value of doing multiple classes a week.
Gotcha.
And
So it took you like a few weeks to get your 5 foundation sessions done.
right.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I jumped in, I want to say mid-May to my first group class.
Okay.
I'll never forget it. I'm sure everybody remembers their first group class. We were doing Bulgarian split squats.
Oh, jeez.
Brutal. Everybody was picking up dumbbells and all that, and I go to do my first one.
Who coached you?
You.
It was me. Did your first one? Nice.
Oh, yeah. I did the first one, I think, with 20-pound dumbbells, thinking, oh, this should be a good starting weight. Nope.
Yeah.
Drop the dumbbells, hands empty. Okay, let's go.
Anyone who's done Bulgarian split squats feels like it's shivering right now because they know how tough those are. It's a single leg squat with your back foot on the bench here.
Right.
And it is a toasty one, which we will be incorporating into the program into our next 12-week training block.
Excellent.
FYI, so get ready, guys.
Okay.
Okay, so you did your foundations course.
Yeah.
Took a few weeks. You were kind of doing one-ish session per week on a good week too.
Yeah.
And then you joined in like May. And what membership did you get in May?
I don't know what it's called. The entry level one,
The
twice a week.
The 2 times one. Okay.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call that the entry one because that's the one that we try not to get people to purchase.
Gotcha.
Which I'm sure we'll talk about soon.
Yes.
So you got the 2 times a week membership.
Yeah.
And how did that process go at the beginning?
It was... trying to choose my words here, but the only adjective can come to mind is brutal.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's simple. And we've talked about this, and I know you've brought it up on the podcast before, but it's the consistency issue, right?
Yeah.
So you go hard my days were Mondays and Wednesdays. So I'd go in Mondays, work hard, Tuesdays be sore, Wednesday go hard, and then my body be wrecked. And it would take me 3-4 days to recover, and then I start again on Monday.
Yeah.
So your body does recover, but you're going through the pain process continually, week after week. And foolishly, I did it for months.
You did do it for a decent amount of time.
Yeah.
Do you know how long?
Well, from May till November.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
So almost like 6 months. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, that was dumb.
And I think I coached you every Wednesday. I believe there was another coach on the Monday, or was I coaching you Mondays too?
Well, for a while it was you on both.
On both. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those were the dark days where I was doing 2 6 a.m.s per week.
That's right. And then I think Amanda started, and then she did
Gotcha.
one day and you did on Wednesdays.
On the Wednesdays, yep.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, so 2 times a week for 6 months, and there was a good amount of pressure that I was felt like I was putting on you.
Yeah.
But that being said, Eli wasn't doing I don't think you were doing absolutely nothing on the other days. I think you were also running.
That's
right?
correct. I was preparing for a half marathon.
Yeah, which I feel you on that now.
Yeah. I mean, if I had done it smart, then I would have been training and following a program for the half marathon. But no, I just winged the half marathon with my own program.
How many runs were you doing per week?
Towards the end, I was doing 3 runs a week.
Gotcha.
And without following doing really any intervals or any, managing my pacing or anything like that. I just said on week 1, I'm going to start doing 5 kilometers. So I did 5 kilometers 3 times a week.
Gotcha.
Or twice a week. And then I just incrementally increased the distance. And I got there, but it probably wasn't the most efficient way to do it.
Do you know how long you trained for that? Was it like a 12-week thing, or?
And here's the thing. I decided, I'd say in mid-July, that I wanted to do this.
Gotcha. And the race was when?
In late September.
Gotcha. So end of July, you said? No, end of September, but you start in July. You decided.
That's right.
Gotcha.
That's right. So, and I didn't come from zero. I wouldn't consider myself a runner, but I can run.
Yeah.
So I started training a little bit, running a couple times a week in July, and then on a class I hurt my back.
Yeah.
I tweaked my back, and it didn't debilitate me, but just made running hard. So I had to scale back the distances and the pace at which I was running. And that carried me for a good 3 weeks. So I pretty much lost 3 weeks of running training to get ready. And then once, let's say mid to late August, I was feeling better. So I started increasing the frequency of my runs because I had a month left to really get up there.
That is wild. I'm on week 13 of my half marathon program, and I still have 4 more weeks to go. I cannot imagine doing this in like even a 6-week block.
I can't imagine. Well, see, and that's the thing is, I forced myself to do it. Yeah. I didn't want to. Yeah. But I was committed. And
you just do what you can at that point. Yeah.
That's right. And
it's interesting you say that though. You did commit to the race.
Yeah.
And I guess it doesn't sound like there was any thought that I might not do it.
No.
I guess you signed up for it and you were like, well, I have to train for this. There's no second guessing the showing up for that.
That's right. That's right. There is no, once you put your pen to paper and you make that commitment, whether you announce it to the world or you announce it to yourself, for me personally, that's it. One way or another, whether I do it with a broken leg and I have to hobble the whole way, I'm doing that race.
Yeah.
And it went better than I expected it to.
What was your time? Do you remember?
2:06.
2:06. Gotcha. It's a decent time, man.
Yeah, I didn't push. That's the thing that I had to force myself to do, is to stay consistent. Don't overexert myself, because I didn't really know the route really well.
Gotcha.
So I said, I'm going to save myself to the end. And then the end happened faster than I expected it to.
Gotcha.
But it was such a cool experience, especially in the last couple of kilometers, because it was in Ottawa.
Oh, yeah.
And people were lined up on the streets, and it ended at the National War Memorial.
Oh, cool.
So full of people and,
Nostalgia.
Nostalgia.
Yeah. And also for people who don't know, you were in the, what would you, is it called the Army?
Yeah,
Or,
I was
okay,
I was a reservist in the Army.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was definitely meant a little bit more for you.
Absolutely.
Getting to that moment there.
Yeah.
Cool.
But finished it off and got to, as soon as we stopped, my legs seized up.
I bet.
Yeah, it was brutal. It was brutal. I should have kept running, at least at a light, a pace or something. Yeah. But yeah, I stopped. They put they don't give them medal, they give dog tags.
Okay. Okay, cool.
They put that around your neck. And
yeah, nice.
You had to walk to where it's a fenced off area. You have to walk to get out of it. And by the time I got out of there and I met up with my kids, and my legs were seized up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Can't wait for that moment.
Yeah.
A couple more weeks to go. I think I'm like 25 days away from it, so I'm excited.
But you're in a good place now, though, to be able to do it and finish it in a healthy state, not in I think my lower half is going to fall off my body.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
Still got a few more weeks to go. But okay, so you finished that half marathon.
Yeah.
After months of me pressuring you and being like, all right, Eli, like, I think you should upgrade your membership to 2 times to 3 times. Did you go from 2 times a week to 3 times a week?
That's right.
Okay, gotcha. How long did that, what time frame was that? When did you start that?
So I started that in November.
Okay, right after the race.
Yeah, like maybe about a month.
Gotcha.
After. Yeah. And immediately I saw the impact on the recovery process. Mm-hmm. And you had been harping on this for a long time.
Yeah.
But I'm stubborn that way.
Okay, let me tell the listeners, we'll backtrack here. So our memberships, we have 3 different memberships.
Right.
We have the Max Energy, it's called, which is the 2 times per week membership. We have the MAXFIT, which is the 3 times a week membership. And then we have the Max Performance, which is unlimited. And we like to give people the option because we do have athletes who at the time, like yourself, are running, who play other sports, who are doing dance or, maybe volleyball like your daughter. And so we have a 2 times a week membership, and that membership is pretty much for those people who can't make it to the gym frequently because they're also committing to other things and they're using CrossFit as kind of this complementary training.
Right.
We hate it for people. I just absolutely hate it because you get that feeling of not recovering. Yeah. You're not really adapting to the training, to the muscles. Right. Like your muscles are never really adapting, your nervous system. Also, there's an element of learning the movements and the coordination, right? If you train one movement, let's say if you're lucky enough to do deadlifts in that one session, it's probably not going to be on that Monday, Wednesday, you said, for a couple more weeks. So it might be like, okay, you get deadlifts on that day, but if you only come twice per week, who knows when you're going to get it next, right? Because the next week after, it's probably going to be on Tuesday. And then maybe the week after, it's going to be on Wednesday, right? Yeah. But okay, so you got it there and there, but then after that, it's going to be Thursday, Friday, a Sunday. So it might be 4 or 5 weeks before you even get to do deadlifts again. Right. So there's an element that your body will never get the practice of that stuff. And yeah, so we hate the 2 times a week membership because it's a huge adaptation that doesn't work out super well. With you, it's good because you were still running and everything, but a lot of people, when they finish the foundations, CrossFit is their sole training, their sole fitness activity of the week. They don't do other sports. So a lot of people are like, okay, well, I'll just get the base. I forget what you called it before. What was the name you labeled it before? The intro level.
Oh, that's right.
It's not an intro level. It's it's this level that people see, oh, that's the minimum. Okay, so I'm going to go for that first. And I'm like, no, red flag, don't do that,
and
abort.
That's the thing as well, is you don't know what you're getting into. So, I was, thinking logically, I was trying to be cautious. Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to like this, and I don't want to commit to something that's, maybe I hate it, which thankfully I don't. Yeah. But you are absolutely right about not only the physical adaptation, but the adaptation to learning the skill, because that's what they are. A lot of the movements are skill based. Yeah. Whether it's just lifting a barbell off the ground with deadlifts or doing a clean or a snatch. Regardless, it's a skill, and practicing it once, let's call it once a month or once every 3-4 weeks, you're starting from zero every single time.
Yep.
Or practically from zero.
Indeed.
And that's the other reason that I switched over to doing at least 3 times a week, is because my body wasn't adapting, but I wasn't progressing. So I wasn't really lifting heavier. Every time that I had to do a movement, I had to almost relearn it.
Yeah.
And it was frustrating. So mentally it was frustrating as well as physically exhausting. And that didn't last that long. I did the 3.
Yeah, you did the 3 times in November. And then I remember having a conversation with you because I know that you had done not just a half marathon, but you had done like Spartan races and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, and I had the feeling that you were a tad bit, well, you like to sign up for things, and like you like to, that inner competitiveness that you talked about before. I had a feeling from coaching you for several months at this point that you like this type of stuff.
Yeah.
And you love to see progression.
Yes.
And I remember having the conversation with you saying, hey, buddy, like we have this thing called the CrossFit Open. Have you ever heard of it? And you were like, no, go on. And then we had a good chat about that, about what the CrossFit Open is and how it's based on age category and it's once a year. And you'll be able to see your score based in a world basis. You know, when you go to half marathons, you get to, or any races, you get to see yourself maybe on a few thousand people, on bigger races, maybe 10 to 20,000 people. Right. But the CrossFit Open has 170,000 people.
It's insane.
You know, so it's very cool to be able to, and there's also the huge community aspect that, again, you running at the end of your half marathon and seeing all those people cheering you on, like there's that aspect of the community support during the Open, which is to me the most fun part about it.
Yep.
So I kind of brought that up to you, and then you're like, oh, interesting.
Yes.
And I think that kind of hooked you a little bit for what was to come after that.
That's correct. I actually started, I at the beginning of 2024, I switched from 3 times a week to unlimited.
Yeah.
And so I started doing 5 days a week, training 5 days a week. And then the Open happened. And for anybody who hasn't done the Open, it's a little nerve-wracking.
Yeah, for sure.
Until that beep starts. And then all the apprehensions go out the window and you're just focusing on those movements that you have to do. And keeping an eye on the clock to get through it.
Yeah.
But what you guys do here, the Friday Night Lights, was incredible.
It was really fun.
It was I've never had that kind of positive reinforcement from practically strangers.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because you're training at 6 a.m. most days, and now you're coming on Friday night to train. So you're seeing not just evening people, but you're seeing people from 9 a.m., 12 p.m., 4, 5, and 6 p.m. And like we try to really encourage everybody to come to the Friday nights. And so, you are seeing literally a bunch of strangers. You go from working out with your 6 a.m. crew to, oh shit, there's now like 50, 60 people in the building, and maybe half of them I don't even know.
That's
right. Who is this random person on the bench over here screaming, go Eli?
But no, it was that 24.1 was rough. But 24.2 and 0.3, because I had that first one under my belt and I kind of had an idea of what it was about and how to pace myself a little bit better, even though the movements were completely different. I feel like they went better, and I'm actually looking forward to the Open next year.
Yeah. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah.
It's going to be really fun. I'm excited because there were so many people this year that did their first Open.
Yeah.
This was your first one this year, right? Yeah. And because you had joined right after the previous year's Open.
Yeah.
Since it's April, it finishes around mid-March, So it's the year that just passed was really cool because there was a decent amount of people that did their first Open from 2023, but now I really feel like there's a lot of people, including yourself, that did their first Open or are still very, very new into CrossFit, who are going to potentially do their first Open in 2025, which is going to be so fun to see their second go at it.
Yeah.
Because that's when it's much more fun, I find. First one's scary, like you said.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
terrifying.
because you don't know what to expect. And,
Yeah.
there's only so much you can get from YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I mean, that's pretty cool that you were even looking up YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Most people are like, what's this open? Okay, show up on Friday night. What's the workout?
Yeah. No,
You're looking up strategies.
Oh, completely. And then the how you incorporated some of the previous open WODs.
Yeah, we did open prep.
Yeah. That was good too.
Mm-hmm.
But no, looking forward to it for next year for sure.
It's gonna be a good time.
Yeah.
And not only did you start training 5 times per week, but you also started doing accessory program with me.
Correct.
Was that when you got the unlimited? That was almost in January this year, right? Didn't we
That's
start
correct.
in the new year?
Yeah, like a week after the holidays.
Yeah, gotcha. So we started right away getting going on that stuff.
Yeah.
There were some things that you were wanting to work on, and we're just pretty much at that time, if I'm not mistaken, just getting you ready for the open.
Yeah, it was that and just getting skills under my belt.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of skills, you hit a pretty cool milestone in your program design last week. We had a quick discussion on our app last night about this because I was going through your program design.
Oh.
And on Friday, I'm programming your stuff, and I see on last Friday, you've been practicing and wanting to get a bar muscle up.
Yeah.
And you've been practicing this for 8 weeks now?
Yeah.
So we're on week 8. So we've been practicing this for about 8 weeks. And I see on your thing, like, oh, it went good with the red band and blah, 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 and da. And then I see at the end saying like, and I also tried without a band and got a sloppy one in or something. And I was like, wait, hold on a second. Reread this. Go back. Did you actually get your bar muscle up?
Yeah.
You're so humble about it. You're like, it wasn't super good, but
No, it was probably the ugliest bar muscle up out in history.
okay.
Oh yeah, double chicken wings. Oh yeah, but
double chicken wing.
yeah, the first one, and then I forced my other arm over. But
did your feet didn't touch the post at all, or
No,
did you
not
use
at
any
all.
assistance? Wow,
No, not at
congrats,
all.
man. The
Yeah.
first one's never pretty, by the way. Maybe we should tell this to people.
Okay.
It's pretty rare. It's pretty rare that you just hop up on your first one, just like magically get up there, and you're like, oh,
right,
this is how you do it.
it looked almost as bad as Tom's first bar muscle up. Shout out Tom.
Oh man, he cannot escape the digs.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, dude, congrats. You got
Thank
your first
you.
muscle up.
Thank
That's
you.
awesome. Now
Yeah.
we know you can do one.
Yeah.
After many weeks of practicing drills and also doing a lot of banded muscle
Yeah.
ups. So it's pretty cool that we know that you can do it. Now we just got to work on not doing the chicken wing.
Right.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
I didn't want to do more than one because I didn't want to jinx it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, that's it. I'm leaving
That's right.
right now.
So,
Okay. Well, good for you, man. I didn't get
Thank
to
you.
actually say congrats on that,
Thank
but
you.
I was reading that last night and I had to comment, and then you're like, yeah, it wasn't very pretty though. And I was like,
Yeah.
what the hell? You got your first muscle up. So
Yeah.
good for you.
Thank you.
So yeah, I've also had the great opportunity of working with you on an individual basis, not just in the group training,
Mm-hmm.
but also in accessory work after. And one of the cool things about you is that every time I go into the program, all I see are green check marks, which is good for my side.
Right.
Because I've had clients where I open up their stuff at the end of the week and I look back and I'm like, oh my God, there's so many red X's that like did not complete on here and here.
Okay.
So there's a lot of green stuff and a lot of really good notes that you
Well,
put in there.
I didn't even know that was an option.
You signed, what did you say? You signed the dotted
Yeah.
line?
Yeah.
Yeah, you would be surprised. There are some clients that I'm like, what the heck happened here?
Well, now that I know it's an option.
You cannot.
Yeah.
So it's been a lot of fun to see your development, not just going from the 2 times a week of like, come on, Eli, like, let's get you in a third time. You're going to feel so much better.
Yeah.
You're going to learn the skills. Your body's going to adapt better, to jumping into unlimited and then plus program design. And now, I mean, you got your first muscle up, which is pretty freaking cool.
Yeah, pretty exciting.
So let's switch this to the dad topic over here. So now that we know your CrossFit background for the last year and a half here, you have your wonderful daughter, Charlotte,
Yep.
who is 14,
Correct.
and she's actually going to be coming this evening.
That's right.
She's going to be shadowing my classes, which
Yep.
is cool. We've been doing the shadowing program with her a couple times this summer. She's
Yep.
she's been traveling to France with you guys.
Yep.
She's been a little MIA, but I'm excited to get her back. She just started school
That's right.
last week, was it, or 2 weeks ago?
Just over 2 weeks ago.
Just over 2 weeks ago. So she's back on the Monday nights. So I'm excited to have her coaching with me. It's always more fun to be coaching with someone else than by yourself.
Sure.
But so you have Charlotte, and then
Yep.
you have sorry, what's the other one? Your other
Jacob.
son, Jacob. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have Jacob, who is 11,
9.
9. Oh my God, way younger than us.
Oh, yeah.
Gotcha. So they're a 5-year difference.
Yeah. Just over 4.5 years.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
exactly the same time difference as my brother and I.
Okay.
So tell me about your lovely children and how you're the best dad ever.
Well, I don't know if I'm the best dad ever. But my kids are awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if anybody's listening to this and they know my children, they'll know that they're awesome too.
Yeah.
No, I mean, they're your average kids, right? They go to school. They like activities. They have their own activities.
What activities? I know
So
Charlotte plays some sports here.
yeah,
So
she plays volleyball and flag football.
yep, which she won the championship last year.
That's right. Yeah.
Which was pretty cool.
It was very cool to see not for me, but for her to experience that.
Yeah.
And not only the victory part, but the grind that they had to do,
Mm-hmm.
you know, playing in the rain.
Oh, it was a
playing
rain
in the
game too.
heat,
Wow.
you know, battling through injuries or fatigue and all that, and then making it through to the end. So yeah, that was just from a learning aspect as a parent. I was so happy that she was able to go through that.
Mm-hmm. It's something I'm very much looking forward to as Thomas grows up, is seeing him. Hopefully, you know, I'll let him choose if he does want to do sports,
Sure.
which I'm hoping he does. But I'm looking forward to that aspect of parenting probably the most.
Yeah.
Hopefully he'll love CrossFit. If he doesn't, I'll accept it. It'll be tough. I'll have to accept it. But yeah, playing sports, taking them to practices, taking them to games.
Yeah.
I'm very much looking forward to that. Probably the most out of any parenting aspect at all.
And that's the thing with our children. My wife and I always wanted them to have some kind of physical activity.
Okay.
We never told them you have to do this sport, and neither my wife or I play any sports really at this point in our lives. So we didn't, push them towards hockey or football or anything, or volleyball or anything. We want them to discover the sport that they wanted or the activity that they wanted. So, my son's done skating. He's done soccer. He's done flag football.
Okay.
Now he's doing parkour.
Parkour.
Which actually his first class is tomorrow for this season.
Wow.
Yeah.
I need to know how that goes.
Yeah.
That's got to be kind of scary as a parent. Parkour is pretty...
Well, it's
pretty intense, no?
It's intense.
Yeah.
It's intense. It's parkour / ninja.
Yeah, I would imagine
kind of
it's
stuff.
more in a safe environment than
it's
the
very safe.
extreme stuff that you're seeing on like YouTube videos of
Yeah,
jumping
yeah,
off
yeah.
buildings and stuff.
Yeah, there's no concrete anywhere.
Yes, yeah.
But they've got the cool stuff. Like they have, they built like walls made out of plywood and bars that they can swing off of or jump onto. They have a warp wall
Okay.
to run up that. And then they've got I won't even call it a mini obstacle course. It's a pretty significant obstacle course with rings, cargo nets, that kind of thing, on a huge inflatable mattress underneath it, like a 3-foot kind of thing that they use in gymnastics.
Okay.
And they've got rock climbing room and a pegboard room.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
So then how did you present this to them? Because this is going to be something I'm going to have to try to do. Did you sign them up for things? Did you say, hey, like we want to get you into something, and they chose? How was that for you?
So we started early.
Yeah.
So again,
What is early?
3.5.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to put Thomas next month, but I guess we'll wait wait a little bit longer.
That's right. I heard that they have baby crawling races somewhere in the world.
Only if you can bet on them.
There you go. No, we started early, and it's funny because kids don't come with instruction manuals.
No, they do not.
And I didn't grow up with sports either. So But what I always wanted and what I always found was kind of missing in my life is sports.
Okay.
And an example to that is, you know, I grew up as an average kid in the 80s. And, you know, on Monday mornings, yes, you weren't even born yet.
The 80s, that's so long ago.
Yeah. You know, on Monday mornings, I remember Monday mornings, come to school, and all my friends played hockey.
Okay, yeah.
Right? So I'd show up and they'd be talking about the game or the match that they played or the tournament that they were in. And I couldn't contribute into that. Right? So it always was something that kind of stuck with me. It didn't bother me so much when I was young, but it's only as I got older and I started thinking back to these things that, oh, you know, one day I'm going to have my kids play hockey, even though I never played. I've never played hockey on ice in my life.
Yeah, I can't even skate. I'm terrible.
So I figured, okay, when Charlotte was 3, I looked up skating lessons. And here in the West Island, they start early. So we signed her up. I think she was 3.5, maybe pushing 4, but I don't think quite. Yeah, she was still in daycare. And it was fine. We got her a pair of skates, and they taught her with the push thing, you know, on the ice to start.
Yeah.
But I think she started in September, October, and then they took it away by Christmas.
Oh, wow.
So whether the kid was ready or not, it's yank, you know, and it's sink or swim.
Yeah.
And she didn't sink.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. Now, let me take a quick step back. Before that, she had been taking swimming lessons as well.
Okay.
And that's one thing, that's a life safety thing. When she was a baby at 6 months old, they've got parent and baby swim classes. It's just really playing in the water with your baby, but it's an organized activity. So I did that, and my wife did that with her. And then we continued with swimming lessons. But, you know, at that age, a parent has to be very, very patient and not have any expectations.
Yeah.
And that's something that you learn pretty hard. Because
you just want them to succeed and be the best. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, maybe not be the best, but at the very least assimilate the instruction that's being given to them by their teachers. So we learned pretty quickly that patience, and if your kid stays in the white level of swimming for 2 years, it's fine. They're getting exposed to the water and they're not being afraid of the water, which is important. So that kind of led to, you know, around 3.5, she started doing skating lessons. And it was the same process again, right? Trying to learn a new skill and trying to remain patient because, you know, a 3-year-old's attention span is pretty limited, especially when you're trying to teach a skill, right? Not a macro skill, a micro skill. And that's really what skating is. But she eventually took to it. And it was more, the program was aimed more at figure skating than it was at hockey.
Yeah.
But at that point, by the time she started developing at the age of, you know, 4, 5, 6, I didn't care anymore because she was being active.
Yeah.
She was enjoying it. And I say she was enjoying it. She was never said, I don't want to go to skating. Right.
Yeah.
And that's a win for any parent listening. That's a win.
I feel like that's what I hear from a lot of parents.
Yeah.
It's just saying, I had to get them up in the morning and they didn't want to go. Or in this case, they just always wanted to go.
Yeah.
You know, pen to paper. They signed up. They were ready to go, you know.
That's right.
Which is really hard for a kid to understand that sometimes.
That's correct.
I kind of had that feeling when I grew up because I played a few different sports. I tried soccer for 2 years, hated it. Tried like a football summer camp, wasn't really working for me. And then I found basketball and I like freaking loved it.
Yeah.
And then I couldn't wait for practices. I couldn't wait for the games on the weekend. So yeah, I feel like that's going to be a fun challenge as a parent to find that thing that they love.
That's
and
right.
that they're willing to maybe wake up early in the mornings or go after school when they're tired, you know, or they just want to watch TV or relax, you know,
or do the extra practices,
you
know. And we went through several years of trying different sports, trying different activities to find that thing that clicked. And ironically, the thing that did click is not an activity that we took her to. They did mini volleyball at school and in elementary school, and she loved it.
Yeah.
And so she took to it, and she wanted to play volleyball. And then same thing, they did flag football.
Yeah.
And they did one tournament. She adored it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the pandemic hit.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And they had all these, I was talking to her gym teacher, because we've known them for a long time. And he was telling me, yeah, we had mini volleyball tournaments planned for the spring of 2020, another football tournament for later in the spring, and everything was shut down.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Okay, so big question for you then. How do you balance your kids' fitness and sports with prioritizing your health and fitness?
Wow, that's a tough question.
I kind of see it from a background check, I guess. Like I can kind of see things happening. For example, there's been some 6 a.m. classes where like your wife will bring your son to the gym and then you have to drive him somewhere else. Well, maybe I think Charlotte's going somewhere else, or sometimes Charlotte will take a bus and then you'll drive her somewhere else, just try to coordinate things.
Yeah,
and like you or vice versa, like you do the run club on Sunday and then you go home, get Charlotte, come back, drop her off.
Yeah.
So I get to see those cool aspects, but maybe you can explain how the stuff goes on at home.
Yeah, I mean, it's important that communication is open for everybody, and what multiple of your guests had said before in that scheduling. I schedule my workouts on the weekend or even the week before, so as soon as far forward as I can, in accordance with kids' school. If my wife's traveling for work,
which she is right now,
which she is this week.
So Eli explained to me that his wife works for the UN.
Yes, that's right. She works for the United Nations in aviation.
Yeah, so she'll be just I'm traveling to X country for
correct
a week, 2 weeks sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes 2 weeks. This week she's in Mexico City.
Gotcha. For a full week.
For a full week until Saturday.
Okay, and yet you still came in this morning. Got your workout in at an unusual time, because most days you do 6 a.m.s.
Yeah, on Monday and Wednesdays I'll do 6 a.m.s.
Yeah, but today you came in at 9 a.m.
At 9, correct.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so it's knowing what everybody's schedules are. It just makes scheduling my own stuff easier.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, I schedule my workouts at the end after I find out what everybody else's schedules are.
Wow.
So I can squeeze it in and also my work.
Yeah.
Because I should work. You know.
Do you have a full-time job?
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. Just wanted to let the listeners know that
correct.
He's not working a couple hours a week here freelancing. He has a full-time job.
That's right.
And dad of 2, and still gets his training in 5. Or actually, you've been kind of hitting it 6 times a week.
Yeah,
you've been doing
sometimes.
5 like harder training sessions,
Yeah.
and then doing the run club on the Sunday is kind of like your active recovery day.
Yep.
It's pretty impressive, man. 6 days of training.
But it's not. In the beginning, it was harder. From a physical perspective, it was harder because your body's adapting to it.
Yeah.
But now it's more juggling the schedule, because now that the summer's over, kids are back in school, back into their activities. Like I said, Jake's starting parkour tomorrow night.
Yeah.
And he's doing a cross country. It's like an inter-school race.
Yeah. Gotcha. I remember doing that in elementary, I think it was. And in high school, I think you had the option of doing it as well.
So he's doing that. They're training. He finishes school at 3:30. They do training with his gym teacher, like running training for like an hour on Tuesdays.
Wow.
They have to pick him up, take him home, feed him, take him to parkour for an hour and a half.
I love that.
Yeah. But in that time, because I know what those timings are, I can backtrack and say, okay, I have to work from this hour to this hour. I've got these appointments, I have these meetings. All right. I can only do the noon class tomorrow. So that's what I schedule myself for. And so that's my own fitness around that. But the kids understand, and my wife understands, and they're all of them, they're amazing for it, how fitness and CrossFit in particular is important to me now, in as cliche as it might sound or as corny as it might sound, it's a part of my life now.
For sure.
And it's, if for nothing else, it's because of the routine that I've created of coming at specific days and doing specific, exercise regimens all this time for the last, what are we at, 9 months now.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing is how not only are they, my family's understanding of, me wanting to dedicate this time for me, but they've almost become part of that process. So I'll drop off my son at school as an example, and I'll say, oh, we're going to do some deadlifts today. And he knows what a deadlift is now.
Mm-hmm. You're in the kitchen with a broomstick showing him this is what a deadlift is.
And then after I pick him up from school or at dinner, he'll say, Dad, how much did you deadlift today?
That's epic.
And now Charlotte, seeing how CrossFit has changed me in a lot of different ways. As you know, she's taking classes now as well. Yeah. She's a member of the gym as well.
Yeah. She's been a member here for how long now?
I want to say 3 months.
3 months? Gotcha.
Yeah.
So just at the end of the beginning of summer, I guess?
Yes, beginning of summer.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. And she wanted to do it in the context of being able to jump higher and hit harder for volleyball.
Mm-hmm.
And she's a typical teenager, trying to wake her up for a morning class, forget about it.
Mm-hmm.
But what I found is you can't push them.
Yeah.
Only in the context of saying, you've made the commitment, you have to sign up for your 3 classes. Yeah. So get it done. I don't care when they are, just get them done.
Yeah.
And she's been doing it, and it's been working out. And it's funny because she had her first volleyball tryout last week, and she said, Dad, my hand is now coming up over the net. I can jump higher now.
That's really cool.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
And
at such a young age to realize that too, at 14 years old, everyone who is listening to this podcast who has done CrossFit always says, man, I wish I started when I was younger.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
And she is starting when she's younger.
Yeah.
And the potential that she could have is going to be, unbelievable.
That's right.
I'm looking forward to seeing her growth in CrossFit. And I think the fun part about having her shadow the classes is to just give her those little nuggets of, why are we doing these 2 exercises together? Why is this workout time framed like this? Hey, when I go tell someone this cue, why am I telling them this? Or how can I get them in a bad position, or in a better position, not a bad, but a better position? But also asking her and be like, hey, Charlotte, do you see like that person over there? Does that movement look right? And, get an answer from her. And then she'll get thinking of it. And sometimes she'll be like, it kind of looks a little off. And then we're just probing her brain and saying, okay, like, well, what looks off? Oh, well, either their knees are really straight, or maybe their back is rounding, or their shoulders are round forward, or I don't really know. But it just looks off. You know?
Right.
And just bouncing that off of her, be like, do you think it would help if I went to go tell them to do this?
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, let me go try that and let's go see what happens. And then going to that person, giving them a cue of some sort, and then seeing the movement completely change, and her being like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
And also behind the scenes of, why are we encouraging people? Like, why am I cheering them at this time? Why are we doing things this way? And it makes her brain really understand a little bit deeper into her workouts.
Of course.
So now when she goes to do her workouts, she's like, oh, I'm doing this not just because it's hard. It's because I want to jump higher. Like, hey, when we do a clean, we're working on really an explosive movement from the hips, where you have to jump really high and then you got to pull yourself under. Well, when you go to volleyball and you're trying to block someone, what do you have to do? Well, you have to explode from the hips really high and try to get your hands over the net.
That's right.
Oh, okay. So there's a correlation between Olympic lifting now and sport.
Right.
And now it's not just this exercise seems high skill or complex, or, man, it's really hurting my thighs here. It's like, well, now, okay, if I do this movement, and now I understand why coach wants me to put on a little bit more weight on the barbell. He wants me to put the 2.5s on or the 5 pounds on. It's because he wants me to be able to jump higher when I go play volleyball after.
Right.
So I'm excited to see her growth on that aspect. Do you think Jake will ever do CrossFit?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to jinx it. I'm not. You know what? The real answer is I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And like I mentioned earlier, we don't want to push them into anything.
Mm-hmm.
We want to push them when they're in something that they choose.
Mm-hmm.
But he did ask me last week, can I start doing CrossFit? I'm like, you're a little young. He's only 9.
Yeah.
But
We have had some younger kids join recently. 9 is a bit young. We tell every parent the same thing, that, hey, if at that age you have to kind of work out with them.
Yeah.
And if they number one want to be here, because I don't want parents to pull their kids here that don't want to be here. So if they want to be here and they're willing to listen and they're willing to put in an effort, and you're there with them at the beginning, then I'm all for them. We just had Noah start. We also have another kid right now who is doing the foundations with her parents. So her parents are doing it also.
Yes, we saw them.
I cannot remember
Sunday,
her name, unfortunately. That's bad on me. But anyway, so we have a couple 11-year-olds starting at the gym. So
yeah, Jake can't even, he got on the bike or couldn't even touch the pedals. Poor kid.
Oh, I forgot to say Lexi too. Lexi did the run club with us yesterday as well.
That's
and she's is she 11? I think she's 11 as well.
Yeah.
So
she's crushing it too.
Yeah. I'm very excited for Lexi's progression as well.
Yeah. But no, I mean, Jake likes parkour, which is awesome because it's calisthenics.
Yeah. Wait till he starts swinging on a pull-up bar. He's going to be like, man. Wait, Dad, you can't do muscle-ups? Well, now I can, son, but I couldn't.
That's right. But no, he, if for nothing else, even if he doesn't progress or become, highly proficient at those skills, the important thing is that they're moving, and they are moving in a sense that we're not pushing them and making them go to those things. They want to do them and they're being active.
Yeah.
I'm under no illusions that my children are going to be professional athletes or anything, or, I mean, if it happens, fantastic.
Yeah.
But at the very least, they're out there, they're getting their heart rate up, they're building muscle, regardless of how small the movements are or, what the weight is or the exercises are. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm in awe of my children sometimes because, as an adult, you know how to prioritize your schedule. You know how to prioritize even your energy and get yourself mentally ready for things. Kids haven't developed that yet. So they go to school, they spend the entire day sitting at a desk learning. And then in a split second, they have to change their clothes and then run.
Yeah.
Or jump or whatever, And I think that's absolutely incredible. And their energy is inexhaustible.
Yeah.
Which blows my mind. It's at the end of the week, you start seeing a little bit of fatigue, dragging the feet a little bit, but no, it's great. And, it's something I wish I had as a kid. And it's not because I didn't grow up in that environment. It's just, I'm the son of immigrants. So it was, you go to school and you work. And then maybe I was involved in martial arts as a kid. Okay. But that's it.
Yeah.
And my parents ran a restaurant. So it's not like they had an infinite amount of time to take me to play hockey tournaments in Sherbrooke or something.
Yeah. Gotcha. I feel like you're killing it as a dad, man. And there's so many more questions that I want to ask you, but we are on a time crunch right now because I do have to go and coach the class, which I'm sad. But we end the podcast the same way every episode with Client of the Week.
Pew, 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 pew.
Nailed it. And actually, I didn't choose this Client of the Week. Eli actually chose this because before the podcast started, I asked him, I said, is there someone that you would like to nominate as Client of the Week from someone either you've noticed in the classes you work out with or things you've had conversations or people you've had conversations with? So you name Client of the Week, my friend, and tell them why.
Oh boy. The client of the week is, you have to do the pews now.
Oh, pew, 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 pew.
There you go. It's
Joelle, which she has been a client almost since the beginning
Yeah.
of CrossFit Max.
Yeah.
And she is not a father, but she is a mother.
She is a mother. Yeah.
And she actually, Renee did his triathlon over the weekend, which was pretty cool. And we went to go cheer on him, Justin, and Tom. And Joelle, we were kind of walking towards the end of the race where they kind of finished their last 10K run. And Joelle was there with like cool signs,
Yeah.
and also her two kids were there. And it was funny because she had a sign that said "free beer at the finish line," but it was meant for Renee. But every person that was running was like pointing to her, like, "Oh, free beer over there." So every person finishing the triathlon was like, "Where's my free beer?"
Yeah, and I'm sure that's what a triathlete really wants at the end of the race.
Exactly, yeah. But Joe is an awesome athlete,
Yeah.
super fun. Maybe you can give some insight on why you wanted to name her client of the week this week.
Yeah, I mean, she and I do the 6 a.m. classes together. She's super consistent at those classes, and the times that she can't come in, I've been seeing her in other times.
Yeah.
You know, on Saturdays, run club. She did run club yesterday, and she's done it a bunch of times over the summer. Always has a great attitude. She pushes herself.
Yeah.
I remember when I was early in my CrossFit journey and she was in class, I was always amazed at just her grit through Metcons when I was dragging my butt
true, yeah.
and all that. No, she, I always found it very, impressive to me how, she always had a good energy and was always very encouraging of everybody around her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are that's perfectly said. I couldn't agree more with everything there. She's an awesome athlete. She's an awesome mom.
Yeah.
And we're very lucky to have her in the CrossFit Max community. Eli, thank you so much for joining today, man.
Thank you
I
for
feel
having
like
me.
we got a lot of good stuff out of you. As a new father, I'm excited to go through those things with my kids, and hopefully I can be as good of a dad as you are. And yeah.
Well, thank you. I'm happy to have been here, and you're going to crush it as a dad, because
Thanks,
if
man.
you treat your kid the way you treat your athletes here, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, I
by
was
the
going to
way,
say, wait, hold on a second.
that's a good thing.
Faster!
Yeah, that's right. What do you mean you're not doing your homework fast enough? Let's go.
Exactly. I want to see green check marks on your training
That's right.
program.
No, it's. I think you're going to crush it. You and Susie are good people, and I know you guys are going to crush it as parents.
Thank you, man. And thank you to all you who tuned in for this episode. If you want to support us, there's a Buy Me a Protein Shake link in the description down below. And we'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.
Bye.